but it's clear that at the moment we cannot fight, with those cars.
Max Verstappen just found out Red Bull has the best engine in Formula One from the FIA, not from the results sheet. Mercedes has won every single race so far in 2026. Every one. And yet, the governing body just ranked Red Bull's power unit above them. Verstappen's reaction? He was speechless. His team went straight to the FIA demanding an explanation. And this is the kind of contradiction other channels won't even notice, let alone dig into. An F1 fact is getting handed to you before the paddock has finished arguing about it. If you want that every single week, subscribe to Orange Army now because it's about to get a lot more insane. Here's the picture going into this. Mercedes has won 6 from 6 in 2026. Kimi Antonelli and George Russell have been untouchable. Red Bull, by contrast, has been chasing, scrapping for podiums, not wins. At Spa-Francorchamps, Verstappen managed third, Red Bull's 300th podium as a constructor, but he was nowhere near Antonelli's pace up front. On raw form, this looks like a Mercedes season, full stop. So when the FIA's engine ranking system quietly delivered its verdict ahead of the Monaco weekend, nobody in the paddock was ready for what it said. Because on paper, the fastest car isn't supposed to have the weakest engine. That's not how this sport works. Except, according to the FIA, that's exactly what's happening. The system is called ADUO, Additional Development and Upgrade Opportunities. It measures every manufacturer's internal combustion engine over the first 5 races and names a benchmark. Whoever's engine is judged weakest gets to upgrade. And the FIA's verdict, Red Bull has the best ICE on the grid. Not Mercedes, not Ferrari. Red Bull, the team that hasn't won a single race this year. That ranking means Mercedes, despite dominating every Grand Prix, qualifies for an upgrade because their engine is more than 2% off Red Bull's benchmark. Ferrari, Audi, and Honda are ranked even further back, so they get the maximum 2 upgrade windows each. Red Bull gets nothing, 0 upgrade opportunity, because officially, they're already the best. So how did Max take being told his engine is F1's gold standard? Not the way you'd expect. We were all a little bit surprised with that news, he said in Barcelona. Not thrilled, not vindicated. Surprised, bordering on confused. We're talking to the FIA now to see what happened there, how they came to that conclusion. Read that again. The 4-time world champion is on record saying he doesn't understand how his own team's engine was ranked number 1. He wasn't chasing a compliment here, he was chasing an explanation. And when the reigning benchmark of the entire grid says he doesn't buy his own results, that's not a small storyline. That's a governing body's credibility on the line, live, in front of every rival team. It gets messier. Red Bull didn't just shrug this off. They formally queried the FIA for clarification. The FIA has now confirmed a full review, rechecking sensor data and telemetry from every manufacturer, expected to take 7 to 10 days. That's the governing body auditing its own ruling, in public, mid-season, with real upgrade allowances hanging on the outcome. And here's the part that makes it worse for the FIA. They still haven't officially published the rankings. Teams were told privately. Journalists got it from sources inside the paddock. The sport's most consequential technical verdict of the year, one that could shape the championship's back half, arrived as a whisper, not a statement. If the team it benefits doesn't even believe it, why should anyone else? Red Bull's rivals aren't staying quiet either. Isaac Hadjar, Verstappen's own teammate, summed up the absurdity in one line. He checked whether Red Bull had won the first 6 races. They hadn't. So the ranking made no sense to him either. Lewis Hamilton called it a genuine surprise, given how close Red Bull and Mercedes have been all year, though he credited Red Bull's engine project, which was built from scratch under Christian Horner at the start of the decade. George Russell went the other way entirely. He said Red Bull's power unit strength has been obvious since preseason testing. No surprise at all. So even the people closest to this can't agree on whether the FIA got it right. That's not a footnote. That's the whole story falling apart under its own weight. strip away the confusion. And here's what this really costs. If the ranking holds, Red Bull develops its engine under a hard ceiling for the rest of 2026 and into 2027. No upgrade token. While Mercedes, Ferrari, Audi, and Honda all get to close the gap. On a grid where Mercedes is already winning every race, handing them extra engine development on top of their aero advantage is not a small mercy, it's compounding. Red Bull would be locked into world's best engine status while getting lapped on results. And if the review overturns the ranking, the FIA has to explain how its own measurement system got the sport's most technical, most scrutinized ranking wrong in year one. Either outcome is bad for someone. There is no clean ending here. Let's put real numbers against this. Mercedes, 6 wins from 6 races in 2026, a perfect record. Red Bull, 0 wins, 1 third-place finish at Spa, their 300th constructor podium. A DUO's actual thresholds, anything ranked more than 2% but under 4% off. The benchmark gets 1 upgrade window this year and next. Anything over 4% off gets 2. Mercedes lands in that first bracket. Ferrari, Audi, and Honda land in the second, meaning 3 manufacturers get the maximum development allowance while the team with the year's worst results gets locked at 0. Separately, and this matters for context, the FIA has already agreed to a phased shift in the power unit formula for 2027 and 2028, moving toward a 60-40 split between combustion and electrical power, after Verstappen spent much of the season publicly criticizing the current 50-50 rules and even floated leaving F1 over them. So this isn't an isolated flashpoint. It's one more data point in a season where Verstappen has repeatedly clashed with the FIA over the very engine formula that now, on paper, says his team builds the best one. The FIA's review results land within the next race weekend or two, and that timeline matters more than almost anything else in this story. Here's the honest read. The FIA's ranking system might be technically sound and just deeply counterintuitive, or it might be measuring the wrong thing entirely. Either way, when the team being told they're the best doesn't believe it and half the grid publicly disagrees, that's not a footnote to the championship. That's a credibility problem for the governing body running it. Keep an eye on that FIA review. If it holds, Red Bull heads into 2027 locked at a development ceiling while chasing a perfect Mercedes season. If it flips, the FIA has to explain a very public mistake. Either way, this isn't over, and we'll be the ones breaking down exactly what the review says the moment it lands. That's what Orange Army does. Subscribe and don't miss it.